All right, so I'm just gonna show you. I'm only gonna do this 4 pairs. I'm gonna make the square out of 4 pairs on each side. Um, the original one has 8, so I'm just gonna do 4, 4, and then I'll do 8 to make the square in the center. You'll get the idea. Just instead of spending so much time and just doing like a bigger square, you'll get the idea with this. But for this part, I'm gonna show you how to finish it. So here I have the 4 pairs that I'm gonna use to make the square, and then to finish it, try to do this on camera without bumping the camera so much. So first, you cut a piece. You want a nice long piece. You don't want it like crazy long, but just nice and long so you can make a knot. All right, and then after that, just make a knot here so it doesn't unravel itself. It's weird using the camera to do stuff instead of just looking at it. Okay. All right, make sure it's nice and on there, it won't slip. All right, and then so now for this part, see if I can get this. I'm going to do same knot, just simple, regular knot. Oh, before that too. So when you have a straight square, you're not going to be able to do this kind of stuff, but I'm taking advantage of the shape of this frame I'm using to tighten it. So see how there's this gap here? I'm going to show you how to push the. So I showed you can push the cord using this thing, which just using something similar to this. And I'll show you how to do it. How it's easier to do it in a second too. So I left a little gap on purpose, just so I can push it together and then have this a little bit more taut than what it is. So first the knot, just a regular knot. Let's see if I can do this. So this is the reason too you want to leave a good amount of space, so you can do a knot and not like a good amount of cord, so you can do a knot and you can't you don't it's not such a pain to like try to do a knot that's like really on a really short piece of cord. So alright, so now I have the knot here. It looks like a pretzel. See that? And then you just push it forward. You want to push it right up against to where the cord is. So right, you just slide it forward. Keep sliding it. If I could do this without while I'm on the camera. No, see, look, that's kind of close, but it's not close enough. So let me undo this a little bit. So for this, you want to start kind of what the this thing. All right. Okay. Starting to loosen. All right. So wow. Okay. All right. So you want a nice loose knot, like a very loose knot. So you can slide it all the way up. I'm gonna try to look at it just by looking at it instead of through the camera, and hopefully it'll come out on the camera too. So I'm just gonna push it. I'm have my fingers like right up against the front, and I'm just pulling on this so that the knot's sliding forward. And then, okay, cool. See, it's pretty close. You can pull on it. All right. And then one more. Let's see if I can actually do this. Hopefully I didn't cut it too short. So this one, you're gonna wrap. See this little gap that's still there? You're gonna wrap that around that little gap. So you take the cord, and wrap it around that little gap. See? And then you put the little tip of the cord in this hole here. If I can do it before it undoes itself. Okay. Alright, so you see that? And I'm going to hold this little cord here underneath, see where the knot is? Right underneath the knot. And I'm just going to pull on it. Okay. Okay, alright, so that's a lot of bone popping. Alright, so, okay. So then after that, all you do is just cut off the end. You can cut it super close or you can cut it far away, it doesn't matter. But I like to just basically cut it somewhere around here. It's going to undo itself a little bit, but it doesn't really matter. So just basically here. And this cord is pretty hard. Okay, so there we are. So that's one piece, and then now I'll show you how to push this forward. So basically, you put it right where the knot is. If this slips and smacks you, it's like super painful, so be careful. And this is nice and blunt, it doesn't have a, it's not sharp at all, so, but still, it'll hurt. So you put it right where the knot is, right in the middle, and use that to push it forward, and you push it forward in the back too. And there you go. So okay, that's one section. And then I'm gonna do the other section next. And then when I finish that, before I do the horizontal part, I'll do another little part of the video, and then I'll show you how to interweave it to make that design. Okay. Okay, so I'll tell you a part that I forgot. It's been a while since I've done this, so I did a rookie mistake on this part. So when you're doing two sections like this, see how I started over here on the first part of the video? So this part, wherever you start, is gonna have like 2 lines extra just from the first knot. Okay, so if you look over here and you have 1, 2, 3, 4 knots, and you look over here and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 knots. So what that does is, as you go and do a design, you have to basically flip these sections. So see how I did all these knots? I started here, and then on this side I started here too. What I should have done is basically flip this over, and I should have started here. So then you have a little bit, you have more symmetry. So you're not, if you keep doing all your knots, if you keep starting every single section on one side only, eventually your cordage is gonna start getting slanted, because you have like 2 extra lines, and that adds up. So while you're doing it, while you're putting sections and sections, it'll eventually go like this. So you have to flip it. You have to do one section, you'll start here, the next section you'll start here. But just for this, I mean, I'm gonna take this apart after I'm done. This is just to show you how to do this. It doesn't matter. So I'm gonna start the next section. But just so you know, that's the way to do it. Just flip your sections. So before I do the next part, so I use this to interweave the cord back and forth, but I'm not going to be able to use this anymore. So the reason is because I'm going to have to go underneath these cords. I have to weave it through here, and this won't fit. It's going to be a mess if I try to even do this. So I actually have to cut a piece of cord, like measure it out and cut a piece that'll be similar to I mean that I'll use for this section. So I have to basically figure out how much cordage I have. So the way to do that, and this is just, it's going to be a rough estimate. You're going to have to add some feet in the end. So for this, I do use the standard, the imperial system. So just measure out your widest piece and just add a little bit more. So going by the diameter of this circle, it's about 8 inches. You can see here. So for this section, I'm going to try to figure out what this section is. So for this section, it's 8 inches each line. I'm going to say it's 8 inches. Obviously, it gradually becomes less, but I'm just going to do that. And I have 2, 4, 6, 8 lines. So 8 times 8 is 64. So I have 64 inches of line that I need just for this. Okay. And now for these little pieces here. So once again, this is just going to be an estimate, but you basically wrap around, whatever cordage you're using, and then just wrap it around, hold it, and then measure that out. And that is basically, that's about an inch. We're going to be adding stuff to this. So let's say it's an inch. So each one of these represents an inch of cordage. And we added this little, we're not adding this little knot, but just a rough estimate, like I said. So each one of these knots represents 3 lines. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 knots, and 3 lines each. And each one of those lines is an inch. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 knots, and one of them's only 2, but we're just gonna say they're all 3. So 5 and 4 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 plus 64 is 91. What? Wait, 27, 64. Yeah, okay, whatever. 91. Wait, 27, 64. Yeah, okay. 91. So you got 91 inches, okay? So this section, in theory, is 91 inches. So I'm just going to say this section is, I'm just going to add another foot to it. I'm just going to say, not a foot. I'm just going to say, it's not 91 inches. It's going to be, I don't know, 100 inches. Let's say it's 100 inches. And that should do. That should be fine. So I'm going to make another square over here on this side. But that square is actually going to have, it's not going to have a gap. So this little gap here is less than an inch. But I'm going to say 100 inches, 100 inches, 100 inches. So I'm looking at 300 inches. Okay, so 300 inches, then you divide that by 12. Whatever that is. But whatever. So 300 inches divided by 12. What, 240 is 20? Whatever. Okay, so 25 maybe? I don't know. All right, so I got to do that. I should have done it before this video. But so 300 inches. You divide by 12, you get the how many feet, and then so just to measure out 300 inches of this cordage, of the cordage you're using. For me, that's what it's going to be, and then use that to interweave it through this. It makes things a lot easier. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to cut this out. Then I'll start making the pattern, and I'll show you how to make the pattern. Okay, so I cut out the piece of cord that I needed, and then I'm just going to go over where I do use millimeters. So just real quick. So here you can see it's like about 2 centimeters. And it's a lot easier just to see how much you need this way, like going by 1.5 millimeters than just doing fractions and being like, okay, this is 3/4, and then being like, okay, how many more sections do I need? So like, so 2 more sections, it would be 3/4 times 2, and then what is that? 6/4. Oh wow. So that's what, 1 1/2, an inch and a half, I think. So so it's so doing that is much. I mean, it's a lot harder than just saying, um, I need 6 centimeters of cord. So that's like super easier in my mind, at least for me, than to dealing with just fractions. So sorry about that. But going back to just this, okay, I had a bit of a hiccup with the other part, so I'm just gonna splice it into the other little section, other little part of video. But all right, so I'm just gonna start weaving it in, and this kind of, it's a little bit more time consuming, and just a little bit harder in general. So what I'm gonna do is basically, I'm just gonna weave it through first, and if you see these 2 sections right here, this on the original pattern is on the outside of the squares. So the way it works is, it is on the outside of the square. It's right above the squares. And let me actually show you that real quick. Let's see if it's not too if I don't get the camera too wonky. Oops. So you see the square? This is gonna be the outside pairs. So they're above the squares. And see, it's above the square. So we'll see. Going back. All right. So going back, I'm just gonna weave it in there first. And then, so this is gonna be on the outside, this pair. And go right over these. And it's gonna be on the outside too. So I'm just gonna do the same thing I did last time. I'm gonna go the opposite way of where I'm going just for the first one. Okay. Alright, so it's okay. Let's say I want it like right here. But it's okay if it's a little bit this way, so I can just push it forward and the string will get tighter. It's not okay if it's this way and then you push it back and it gets looser. So I'm gonna start here, and that's fine. I'll just push it a little bit forward afterwards. So after this, what I want to do is, I'm gonna take all the cord, which is a lot of cord, okay, that I have, and I can't use that cardboard thing anymore because the cardboard part is too it's too thick. So I'm gonna take it and I'm just gonna wrap it. Oh wow, that looks kind of like disorienting. All right, nice and slow then. I'm gonna wrap it. Okay, like you're. So just to make things easier. Okay. A little bit more. Oh, that looks disorienting. Okay. Alright, that's fine. Okay. So after I wrap it, okay, just to make sure it doesn't like get too mixed up with them, in between itself. After I wrap it, I hold it like this, and then just grab your cord, twist it, and then just put it over your loop. I mean your little bundle, and then pull on it. Alright, pull on it. Just turn it a little bit, let it catch itself. Okay. All right, and then you do it one more time. I'll show you again. Oh. All right, and then like that, and just pull on it, and then just tighten it then. All right, so now you got a little bundle. Okay, it's easier to work with, and I'll show you why. Okay, so we're gonna do the same thing here. So you go over. I'm just gonna do it like this. I mean, so I'm not gonna really go over this anymore. And there we go. Okay, so I mean, I'm not gonna go over the knot anymore. I think I'm just gonna do it, and then doing it fast might help too. So I'm just gonna pull on this. Oh, you don't want it to go that far forward because then you won't be able to push it back. Pull on it. I want to make sure both these sides are at least, straight. I don't want this to go too far. Okay. I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna pull from underneath. Make sure they're together. Hold it. Pull from on top, and then I'm gonna do the last knot. Right. Okay. All right, so now I'm gonna put it where I want it. So this square, it's gonna be as wide as this. So let's take a look. This is about, let's just say, 2.5 inches. So 2.5 inches. We probably want this a little bit more. Or this is around 2.5 inches, so we probably want it a little bit more down. So I'm gonna push it down. Okay. Tight like a tiger. All right. Let's see. All right, that's perfect. Okay, so now here's where the bundle comes in. I mean, another reason why it comes in. So I'm gonna have to weave this right where this one was. Okay. So same place. You can double check just by being like going like that. And okay. So here you have a pair now. Alright, still gotta push this a little bit down because it moved. Okay, that looks fine. Alright, so I'm gonna do one more. Okay, and the rest is basically the same thing. So I'm gonna do one more, and then off camera I'm gonna finish it, and then I'll show you again. So the next one, okay, it's the next pair. So I'm gonna go underneath the next pair. So all right, here. Okay, so all right, and I'm just gonna run it through. You just gotta double check, just check and double check. It's better. It's better that way than to make a mistake and then have to go back. So I'm gonna run it through again, but this time, you know, in the other direction. Hopefully this video isn't like crazy boring because it's taking a lot longer than I thought it would. This is a part where you can mess up if you put it down the wrong part. All right, see, so it's right there. All right, so okay, so there's the second part. All right, so it's gonna be the same thing. So I'm basically gonna do 1, 2, and then 2 more. So this has 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm gonna do 1, 2, 2 more pairs, and then the next section I'm just gonna do. They're all gonna be underneath, and then 4 pairs coming up from the bottom up. So I'll do that off camera and show you afterwards. Okay. Okay, so here's the finished design. And I decided to not do the center part because the center part, it does have a reason, it does have a purpose for the original design, and that purpose is basically to bring out the design. So if you don't have anything in the back, you have all these holes, and that sort of kind of it the design gets washed out by the background, so you can see right through it, and that kind of like washes out the design. So if you have this, it kind of emphasizes it. So that's the reason for that. But for teaching purposes, I decided yeah, I don't think it's really needed just to have a bunch of chords in the back, and I can show you a few things a little bit easier, I think. So one of the things, I mean, the things I can show you is basically just to go over a little bit more about the whole stacking effect I talked about. So if you see that, how each chord is stacked on top of the other, and you get a sort of thickness for the 3D effect, and that's how that works. So talking about that, the reason I did the design I did for the chair is just it's a repetition of the same square for the chair. So for this one, it would be a square here, a square here, a square here, and so on. And the reason I did that is because you kind of have to. If you want the 3D effect, you kind of have to do that. And the reason why too is because if I put another square here, just how the chords will separate these I mean, the design of the square would separate these chords in the same fashion that this square does, because it's a repetition of it. So that would add to the depth of this square. This actually would get a little bit deeper if I added another square here, because see how it goes flat and then all of a sudden it curves here and then it goes to there. It would start curving from here. So it would become deeper, and it would become more of a 3D effect if I added more squares around it. And then that also entails basically if you decide to make your own design, and you want to do squares in some spots and then you want to do other things, other designs that aren't the same as your original design will flatten it basically. So if you want to just straight up 3D effect like I have in the chair, then you kind of have to use the same design over and over again. Like let's say for example, if I want to do like a weave here, if I want to go in and out and do just like a weave kind of design here, that would actually flatten. I don't know if I can see it. That would actually flatten this, and in turn it would flatten the design too. So if I did a weave all around, this would basically just flatten out like that, and that's it. You wouldn't really get a 3D effect. So just on that, just to I mean it's good to think up of designs and all that, be creative, but just so you know, it all depends on what you want. You have to kind of like think of what you want to go with a design too. So there's certain effects that the design has. So oh, real quick, so the nail clippers are for basically for repair. So if I wanted to add another piece to this, I would basically, so here's the knot, the last knot you do. What you do is, and I'm just going to show you here above, it's easier I think. You basically, just do a regular knot again. Okay, just a regular knot, and then what you do is you grab that knot. Okay, like let's say this represents that knot. You have to pull on it until you have the bottom little rope exposed here, and then you have to grab that knot and then just tie it with this one. It's not really that clear here, but you just tie it with this one, and of course this would have to scoot down all the way, this knot. But that's how you would add. That's how you would add. I'll pull on it. That's how you would add an extra cord to this. Like let's say you measured wrong or did something wrong. You would basically make a little knot, pull on this knot here, pull on this, and then right underneath you would grab it, and then you would have something like this, and that's how you add cordage. So let's say for example, you messed up somewhere. You know, you notice afterwards, and you want to repair that spot. So what you do is, or you know, one of these get cut up or something. What you do is you would have to go to where the knot is. Once again, pull on it, and then you would slip this underneath the knot. So same thing. You would have to pull on it until you can see underneath, and then you would basically get this, and then cut the knot, cut the knot off. Okay, so now you have an empty spot. You have you took the knot off. You can unravel it. You can do the repair you need to do. You can do the repair you need to do, and then afterwards, after you do the repair you need to do, you have to add more cordage to it, more cordage to where you cut the knot, and then basically do the final piece that you cut the knot to, because you can't just, since you're missing the knot, you can't use the same piece. So if I cut the knot here, I can no longer use this whole piece here. So I cut the knot off. I have to make another knot here, add another piece, and then tie it up here, and then I'll have the same thing again. So just real quick, that's what this is for. Okay, so hopefully that was clear. For those of you who've seen my videos, and this is like super weird because it's not what I usually do. I'm gonna do another video on knives in a little bit, and then that Vanix kitchen knife I'm making is gonna come in about probably like a couple weeks from now. So I'll do videos on that too. All right, and then if you stayed this long, thank you. That's you know, for your interest. If you have any questions, let me know. Hopefully this will be something kind of fun to do, in case you feel like trying it. Okay. All right. Bye.